In our planet, there are corners of incomparable beauty, but there is a country that combines spectacular landscapes with unique cultural traditions and events that seem to be taken out of a science fiction movie. A remote land where a surprising fact occurred, unique in history, because a whole day vanished as if by magic. A lost instant that was never lived by any of its inhabitants, engraving a mystery forever in its history. A country as extraordinary as some of its customs, where some boys are raised as girls from an early age, to the point of being recognized throughout their lives as a third gender, known as fa'afafine. In this new video of Uncensored World, we will know in more detail Samoa, one of the most remote and captivating countries on the planet. Samoa, the first place in the world to celebrate the new year, a paradise halfway between Hawaii and New Zealand, which Europeans nicknamed as the Islands of the Navigator, as its inhabitants were considered the best navigators on Earth, being able to conquer the Pacific without using compasses or maps, helping themselves with the shape of clouds and waves, or the type of birds and fish that accompanied their journey. A country with unique curiosities such as its warrior past, in which Samoan wrestling replaced weapons in wars, also helping to resolve conflicts with neighbors. An archipelago that maintains ancestral traditions to honor virginity in women before marriage, or the spectacular dance of the fire stick, an initiation rite in which young people demonstrate their courage and celebrate the transition to adulthood while trying to woo new partners. A place of such an imposing and majestic nature, with natural pools hidden in craters or huge lava fields that look like landscapes from another world, making it one of the most photographed destinations in the Pacific, all very close to the most paradisiacal islands and beaches on the planet. Get ready to get to know the land of tattoos and the giants of the Pacific. Pay attention and don't miss this video because we assure you that discovering Samoa with us will surprise you. Let's get started. Located in the heart of the Pacific Ocean, Samoa is a small island country in the Polynesian region of Oceania, composed of two main islands called Upolu and Savaii. These, along with several smaller islands, form part of an archipelago of exuberant beauty, located approximately halfway between Hawaii and New Zealand. One of the most interesting facts about Samoa is that the country occupies only the western half of the Samoan archipelago, while the other part is known as American Samoa. This division has its origins in colonial times, when European and American powers became interested in these islands. At that time, the western part of the archipelago came under German control, forming German Samoa, while the eastern islands became the territory of the United States, called American Samoa. Eventually, German Samoa was renamed Western Samoa, a name that reflected its geographical position. But in the year 1997, the country decided to simply adopt the name Samoa. This change generated tensions with the inhabitants of American Samoa, who interpreted this decision as an appropriation of the name of the entire archipelago. To this day, these differences are still perceived in how they refer to each other, with the Eastern Samoans calling the inhabitants of the independent country the Westerners, thus marking a cultural and historical distinction that continues to this day. Another very striking curiosity that few know is that Samoa is the first country in the world to welcome the new year, something that has a lot to do with its geographical position. This archipelago and country is located just west of the International Date Change Line, an imaginary border that marks the separation between one day and the next on the globe. This fact places Samoa in the privileged position of receiving each new day first, including January 1st, making it the starting point of the global calendar. However, this was not always the case, as until the year 2011, Samoa was east of this line, sharing the same time zone as California, which meant it was 21 hours behind its major trading partners, such as New Zealand and Australia. To correct this mismatch and better align itself with its economic and cultural neighbors, Samoa decided to move to the other side of the international date line. This change, which occurred in December 2011, resulted in another incredible curiosity, as Samoa literally lost a day moving directly from the 29th to the 31st of December, and erasing the 30th day from its history and past. This adjustment not only benefited Samoa's trade and economic relations, but also gave it a curious global prominence as the first country to welcome each new day. Thus, by welcoming the new year before any other place in the world, Samoa reaffirms itself as a unique destination, where modernity and traditions meet under a sky full of stars, in an environment that remains a true paradise, as you will discover on this trip. With a population of around 200,000 inhabitants, Samoa has a relatively low population density of approximately 60 people per square kilometer, which allows for a quiet lifestyle deeply connected to nature. To put it in perspective, Samoa's total population of approximately 200,000 is similar to that of medium-sized cities such as Salamanca in Spain or Culiacan in Mexico. In terms of territory, Samoa covers more than 2,800 square kilometers, an area comparable to the size of Luxembourg or slightly larger than Mexico City. This highlights its low population density of approximately 60 inhabitants per square kilometer, which contrasts with the densely populated urban areas and allows for the preservation of vast, virtually untouched natural spaces. Most Samoans live in small traditional villages known as nu'u, where communities are organized around the extended family and respect for ancestral traditions. This lifestyle allows Samoan villages to maintain a quiet pace, away from the pressures of large cities, and reinforces social cohesion in an environment where the land and sea are an integral part of daily life. The nu'u, or traditional Samoan villages, are at the heart of Samoa's social and cultural life. These communities are made up of a group of houses surrounded by gardens and tropical vegetation, distributed around a central area that usually includes a church and a fale fono, the communal meeting house where important decisions are made. The traditional houses, known as fale, have an open design and are built with natural materials such as wood, palm leaves, and coconut fiber, allowing natural ventilation in the hot Pacific climate. Life in the nu'u is based on cooperation and mutual respect, with the extended family, aiga, as the nucleus of the community. Each member has specific roles that contribute to the collective well-being, from fishing and farming to organizing cultural and religious events. A curious fact is that in many nu'u, minor conflicts are resolved through reconciliation rituals, such as the ifoga, where one family seeks forgiveness from another by symbolically presenting themselves under a mat. In addition, villagers live in harmony with nature, gathering fresh food such as coconut, taro, and fish, which are essential to their daily diet, while preserving sustainable practices that have been passed down from generation to generation. The name Samoa has deep roots in the Samoan language, a Polynesian language that has been kept alive over the centuries, and means the sacred land, reflecting the spiritual connection of its inhabitants to their islands. Most Samoans speak Samoan, one of the purest and most preserved Polynesian languages, which has remained virtually unchanged since the arrival of the first inhabitants more than 3,500 years ago. This ancient language, passed down from generation to generation, reflects Samoa's rich cultural heritage and is a fundamental pillar of the national identity. Thanks to the strong attachment of Samoans to their history and traditions, Samoan has withstood the influence of colonization and modernization, remaining a vibrant, authentic language deeply rooted in its cultural environment. In addition to Samoan, English is also an official language, although most of the population uses the traditional language in their daily lives, thus preserving the cultural richness of their land. Samoa's history is marked by its isolation, ancestral culture, and interactions with early European visitors. Samoa's first inhabitants arrived more than 3,500 years ago, establishing a rich civilization based on respect for the land, the sea, and family ties. These Polynesian peoples developed a self-sufficient and sustainable lifestyle based on fishing, agriculture, and the building of strong communities, now known as nu'u. The first European visitors arrived in Samoa in the 17th century. Prominent among them were Dutch and French explorers who were impressed by the hospitality of the Samoans and the beauty of their islands and people. However, contact with Europe did not bring direct colonization for a long time. It was not until the 19th century that colonial powers, such as Germany, the United States, and the United Kingdom, showed interest in the archipelago because of its strategic location in the Pacific. Samoa briefly became a German colony, and then came under New Zealand administration after the First World War. Despite these outside influences, Samoa retained much of its cultural and political autonomy, finally achieving independence in 1962, becoming the first independent country in the Pacific. Due to its geographic isolation, its independent character, and the limited influence of colonization, Samoa has remained a true virgin paradise in both its environment and culture. This isolation has made it possible to preserve not only ancestral traditions and the Samoan language, but also a virtually untouched natural environment where the beauty of the landscape and the richness of biodiversity make these islands one of the last refuges in the Pacific for nature in its purest state. Within its borders, Samoa is home to some of the most magical and paradisiacal places on the planet, scenarios that have captivated travelers and photographers from around the world, establishing itself as one of the most photographed destinations in the Pacific. Among these places, the Tosua Ocean Trench stands out, a natural wonder that seems to be taken out of a dream. This impressive natural pool is located inside a crater, surrounded by lush tropical vegetation. Its crystal-clear water reflects the emerald hues of the surrounding flora, and is accessed by a wooden staircase that descends into the heart of this idyllic space. Tosua, which literally means big hole, is a testament to the majesty of Samoan nature, making it a place of unparalleled peace and beauty, perfect for those seeking a deep connection with the environment. Samoa is also home to a fascinating geological history, visible in places such as the Saleaula lava fields, formed after a volcanic eruption in the 20th century. This landscape, covered by rivers of solidified lava, features partially buried structures such as a church whose ruins emerge from the dark ground, providing a striking contrast to the surrounding greenery. These fields not only tell a story of the unstoppable force of nature, but are also a reminder of the ingenuity and resilience of the Samoans, who learned to live with these landscape transformations. Samoa's natural environment includes not only geological wonders, but also a unique fauna that highlights the region's biodiversity. The islands are home to endemic birds, such as the noisy Samoan manatee, known for its colorful plumage and distinctive song, as well as fascinating sea creatures in its coral reefs, where multicolored fish, sea turtles, and rays swim. These reefs, which are among the healthiest in the Pacific, are a paradise for divers and nature lovers, offering a glimpse of a virtually untouched ecosystem. As if that weren't enough, Samoa's beaches are among the most pristine and spectacular in the world. Places like Lalamanu Beach offer white sands, turquoise waters, and seemingly endless views of the horizon. On these shores, time seems to stand still, allowing visitors to experience serenity and natural beauty at its finest. As you might have guessed, Samoa's history is also intertwined with its warrior past and present. In ancient Samoa, tribal conflicts were common, and Samoan warriors played a crucial role in protecting their communities. However, Samoan wars were not always decided with weapons. Samoan wrestling, known for its physical prowess and endurance, was a traditional way of resolving disputes and avoiding large-scale conflicts. In this way, the Samoans, instead of resorting to armed violence, demonstrated their strength and honor through hand-to-hand combat, uniting communities under principles of respect and skill. One of the most prominent names to bring international visibility to Samoan wrestling is Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, who comes from a family with deep roots in Samoa and in the world of professional wrestling. Although born in the United States, Johnson has a direct connection to Samoan culture through his mother, Ata Maivia, who is from a prestigious Samoan family. His grandfather, Peter Maivia, was a wrestling legend and played a crucial role in introducing Samoan wrestling to global stages. Through his success in Hollywood and his iconic career in world wrestling entertainment, Dwayne Johnson has proudly carried Samoan heritage, incorporating cultural symbols and references into his public image, helping to spread Samoan heritage globally. The Samoan warrior tradition was not only expressed through wrestling, but also through the Samoan haka, known as the siva tau. This warrior dance is a visual and energetic representation of Samoan pride, strength, and spiritual connection. The siva tau was once used by warriors before battles to motivate themselves, intimidate their opponents, and ask for the protection of the ancestral gods. Today, this tradition is still alive, especially in sports, where teams such as Manu Samoa, the national rugby team, perform the siva tau before matches, symbolizing unity and defiance. The siva tau is characterized by rhythmic and powerful movements, accompanied by chants and shouts that narrate the history and spirit of the Samoan people. Dancers display intense facial expressions, such as wide eyes and tongue out, to intimidate the opponent. Each movement is full of meaning, representing the connection with the ancestors and the land, while the rhythm of the drums creates an atmosphere charged with energy and emotion. It is a spectacle that not only exalts physical strength, but also cultural pride. In Samoan society, when conflicts became too serious to resolve through wrestling or dialogue, Samoans resorted to ifoga, a deeply respected and curious ritual of reconciliation. In this ceremony, the offending party had and still has, as this tradition is still used today, to present himself covered by a mat in front of the house of the wronged family, symbolizing his humility and repentance. Waiting for hours and even days, until the family decides to forgive him in a striking and symbolic way, since only when the family lifted the mat was considered that forgiveness had been granted. This act not only resolved disputes, but also strengthened social ties and maintained harmony within the communities. Thinking about Samoa's cultural legacy and traditions, surely one of the most striking and controversial realities has to do with the third gender known as fa'afafine, a cultural particularity in which some boys are raised and treated as girls from infancy. This unique tradition in the Polynesian world transcends binary gender roles and reflects the adaptability and deep respect for diversity that characterizes Samoan culture. In the Samoan language, fa'afafine literally means "in the manner of a woman," and designates people assigned male at birth, but who take on female roles in society. From an early age, fa'afafine often show interests and behaviors that are traditionally associated with the female gender, such as a taste for domestic chores, feminine dress, or social interaction in roles considered feminine. And it is because of this that, in some cases, parents or relatives, after identifying these inclinations, decide to raise them as girls, allowing them to freely express their identity without being questioned. It is important to note that this is not imposed, but is a culturally accepted decision that seeks to balance roles within the family and the community, and to respect the freedom and identity of the children. The existence of the fa'afafine has both social and cultural motivations. In nu'u, or traditional villages, each member of the extended family, or aiga, fulfills specific functions that are essential to the collective well-being. If a family has few sons assigned as women to take on domestic tasks, such as caring for the elderly or organizing the household, it is possible for a male son to assume that role. Beyond practical necessity, however, recognition of fa'afafine is based on a deep understanding of individual identity and respect for gender expressions. Throughout their lives, fa'afafine are recognized as a third gender, distinct from both men and women, and occupy an important place in Samoan society. They are valued for their ability to move between traditional male and female roles, contributing significantly to their communities. Many fa'afafine excel in the arts, education, and cultural traditions, and are often seen as bridges between the genders and symbols of inclusion. At this point in the trip, we took the opportunity to ask you, What do you think of this Fa'afafine tradition? What impressed you most about Samoa? Pause the video and leave us your comment. You know that doing so is the best way for you to help us keep working hard to help you get to know the world and its wonders every week. So thank you. From a cultural perspective, Fa'afafine not only represent a practical solution to balancing family roles, but also a reflection of the values of Fa'a Samoa, the Samoan way of life, which prioritizes harmony, unity, and mutual respect. In a world that often classifies identities in binary terms, the Fa'afafine demonstrate the flexibility and richness of Samoan traditions, offering a unique example of how cultures can embrace gender diversity in a way that is natural and integrated into their social fabric. This tradition, which may seem surprising to visitors, is a testament to Samoa's inclusive and pragmatic approach to individual identity and role within the community. Another reality that has much to do with Samoan warrior past and traditions is their tattoos. Samoan tattoos, known as pia for men and malu for women, are one of the oldest and most symbolic traditions of this country. This art, which is done with traditional bone and wooden tools, is not simply decorative, but represents the status, maturity, and spiritual connection of the wearer. The process is extremely painful, but enduring it demonstrates courage and commitment to cultural values. Each design tells a unique story, reflecting a person's identity and place within their community. For men, completing the pia signifies that they are ready to assume responsibilities in their community and be recognized as full members of Samoan society. In many cases, these rituals are not only an act of personal maturity, but also have a social component related to courtship. During the tattooing process, which can take weeks or even months due to the complexity and pain involved, young people often show their strength and perseverance, qualities that are highly valued within Samoan culture. This demonstration of endurance and dedication can attract the attention of potential mates, who see in these young people future leaders and protectors, ready to raise a family and contribute to the community. Similarly, the fire staff dance is surely the most famous and well-known tradition in Samoa, a ritual that has evolved into a cultural spectacle for tourists, with deep roots in Samoan ritual ceremonies. Originally, this dance was performed before battles to invoke the protection of the gods, or after a victory to express gratitude, becoming not only a symbol of strength and skill, but also an opportunity for young warriors to demonstrate their prowess in front of their communities. Today, this dance retains its ceremonial aura, and for many young Samoans, especially during festivals and cultural events, it represents an occasion to impress potential mates with their bravery and control over fire, an element that symbolizes both danger and vitality. In this way, both traditional tattoos and the fire pole dance are more than just cultural traditions. They are expressions of identity, strength, and seduction that reinforce community ties and reflect the unique spirit of Samoa. A unique spirit that impresses in the same way that the first European explorers, when they arrived in Samoa, were amazed by the stature and robust physique of the inhabitants of these islands, to the point of being known as the giants of the Pacific. This impression was not accidental. The Samoans possessed strong, muscular bodies, developed by their active lifestyle and connection with the natural environment. The Samoans' size and presence were associated with their reputation as formidable navigators and warriors. This reality can be observed today, as Samoa continues to stand out as one of the countries with the tallest and most physically imposing population in the world. Studies have indicated that Samoans have one of the tallest average heights globally, as well as a robust build that continues to amaze those who know them. This characteristic, along with their rich cultural heritage and history of bravery, continues to mark the Samoans as one of the most fascinating communities in the Pacific. A fascination that Disney discovered years ago, becoming the inspiration to create Moana, a movie in which Samoan culture is reflected, including these dances and traditions, and even the maritime legends that would make its people recognized centuries ago as the best sailors in history. That is why Samoa was recognized by the Europeans as the Islands of the Navigator. The Samoans, along with other Polynesian peoples, were exceptional navigators, able to travel vast distances in the Pacific Ocean without compasses or maps. They used advanced methods of navigation based on the observation of nature. The shape of the waves, the pattern of the winds, and the constellations in the sky served as tools for orientation. For example, spotting seagulls at sea indicated the proximity of land, usually less than 50 kilometers away. Certain fish and jellyfish also signaled the proximity of shallower waters, while shifting winds could reveal the direction of a nearby island. Knowledge of the stars was essential for Samoan navigators. They learned to identify specific constellations that helped them stay on course and return to their points of origin. In addition, they observed patterns of ocean currents and the migratory movements of birds to plan their voyages. This ability to read the natural environment made the Samoans some of the best navigators in history, capable of colonizing the most remote islands in the Pacific and establishing exchange networks among them. Mastery of navigation not only allowed them to explore new lands, but also strengthened their cultural identity. For the Samoans, the ocean was not an obstacle, but a path that connected them to their gods, their ancestors, and their destiny. This amazing ability to conquer the sea using only the natural resources available is a legacy that continues to inspire today's generations and reinforces the importance of preserving both their history and their environment. As you have seen, Samoa is a land of deep traditions, warrior histories, and a unique relationship with the ocean. From their struggles to resolve disputes to their rituals of reconciliation and their extraordinary skill as navigators, the Samoans have left an indelible mark on the history of the Pacific. Their ability to live in harmony with their environment and to harness natural resources to resolve conflicts and explore the world remains an inspiring example of resilience and ancient wisdom. At this point, you may be considering visiting this paradise in the near future. If so, at Uncensored World, we have prepared all the information you need to plan your trip. Subscribe to the channel so you don't miss our next videos, and take note of the following on how to get to and enjoy Samoa. To get to Samoa, most travelers opt for international flights that land at Faleolo International Airport, located on the island of Upolu, near the capital, Apia. Although Samoa is a remote destination, it has frequent air connections to major cities such as Auckland in New Zealand, Sydney in Australia, and Nadi in Fiji. If you are coming from other continents, you will have to make a stopover in one of these cities before arriving in Samoa. As for the cost of living in Samoa, this can vary depending on the style of travel you choose. Samoa offers options for different budgets, from luxury accommodations to more economical options. Mid-range hotels are priced between $60 and $100 per night, while hostels and budget accommodations can cost between $30 and $50 per night. For the more adventurous, there are also options of local guest houses or fails, traditional huts that allow you to live an authentic experience for even more affordable prices. Dining in Samoa is also affordable for a variety of budgets. Dinner at a mid-range restaurant costs approximately $40 to $50 for two people, while eating at local markets or casual restaurants can cost less than $10 per plate. Fresh fish, taro, and coconut are main ingredients in Samoan cuisine, and enjoying a local lunch will not only be inexpensive, but also a delicious experience. To get around Samoa, you can rent a car for approximately $40 to $60 a day, which will give you the freedom to explore the island at your own pace. You can also opt for local public transportation, such as the colorful traditional buses, which are inexpensive and a fun way to immerse yourself in the local culture. If you prefer something more intimate, cabs are available, although it is advisable to negotiate the price before setting off. Samoa is a destination that combines sufficient tourist infrastructure with an unspoiled natural environment and authentic culture, making it a safe and relaxing place for travelers. The hospitality of the Samoans, known as Fa Samoa, makes visitors feel welcome from the very first moment. In addition, the tranquility and low population density allow you to explore the islands without worries, enjoying the beauty of its beaches, coral reefs, and tropical landscapes. If you are looking for a destination that combines cultural authenticity, untouched nature, and affordable prices, Samoa is the ideal place. Get ready to explore this magical corner of the Pacific, where the beauty of its landscapes and the warmth of its people will make your trip unforgettable. Samoa awaits you with open arms. From Uncensored World, we hope this video has helped you to discover and enjoy Samoa, one of the most fascinating and beautiful jewels of the planet. If so, do not hesitate to leave us a nice like and a comment. It is the best way to help us keep working to bring you every week interesting content like this. Videos like this one that you can see below to enjoy the beauty and curiosities of one of the most fascinating places on the planet. Click on it, you will enjoy it.